Hi, Bethany Warren here, and you've joined us for the weekly Our Millwall fan show with the Millwall No One Likes Us Talking team, which is broadcast every Friday evening. Enjoy!
Welcome to the 2022-23 series of the Millwall No One Likes Us Talking, Our Millwall fan show. I'm your host, Gary Staff, and with me I have the No One Likes Us Talking team of Stan Godwin, Patricia Maslin, and Jeff Burnige.
Not everybody likes them, but they don't care.
The Lions faced Blackpool at the weekend. A hard fought, I think is the word I could use. 2-1 win at the Den on Saturday. I'll go to you, Stan, first, as you were the first one and only one to say hello to me.
Okay, Gal. Yeah, well, Blackpool. They were a strange mob, really, because they've always been. Even last season, I can remember them coming down, and it was, they give us a game, to be fair, but eventually we won. But I thought it was the game on Saturday was a game of two halves, literally. In the first half, I thought we was okay. We wasn't anything exceptional. We was okay, right? But then when we come out in the second half, right, and we then started to move the ball quicker, and we then started to speed it up a bit, and we then imposed our will on the game. Then it become a lot better. I certainly think that Fleming is a player in the making, and no question of that in my view. Once he gets going, he'll be all right. I thought Billy Mitchell had a fine game, and what I couldn't understand, right, and I'll eat a donkey if somebody can explain it to me, that why in the first half Billy Mitchell was getting booed is beyond me. Absolutely beyond me. But he was. But in the second half he came out, and I didn't think he had a bad game anyway in the 90 minutes, personally speaking. And I thought in the second half we looked a lot sharper, and as I say, we moved the ball quicker, and that's fine. And we eventually we won the game, and deservedly so. But that sort of performance in the second half, I want to see that sort of performance for 90 minutes, week in, week out. That's what I want to see.
Problem is, though, Stan, we've been doing that for last season and a half, haven't we, really? Secure the first half, make sure we don't get beat, and go and win the second.
Yeah, well, yeah, but you see, the problem is sometimes for me is what we start off okay, and then we let the opposition get back into the game. Now, we should never do that, in my opinion. The good teams do not do that, right? And if we've got aspirations, and I put it no stronger than that, of making the playoffs and getting into the Premier League and all the rest of it, then you've got to be at it for 90 minutes. That's what you got to do. And as I say, but people are getting themselves excited, and it's all, and everyone keeps slagging off the manager because that's the thing to do. If they weren't slagging him off, they'd be slagging somebody else off, and there's no pleasing them. But and criticism is okay, providing it's constructive, and our lot just slag him off for no reason, in my opinion, in a lot of cases. And in a lot of cases, they're not going to be happy until they've driven him out of the club. That's the bottom line. Let's not mess around. There's a group of people are not going to be satisfied until they get Gary Rowett out of the football club. And then, you want to be careful what you wish for.
What are your thoughts then, Pat? On what?
Win against a poor side. We were woeful in front of the goal. Not a great performance, was it? The positives, 3 points. That's it. There was no positives from that day, really. You had a few players who could walk off with their head held high. Obviously, Billy, Honeyman. There's a couple decent players there. Fleming, he did look good, and now he's been awarded the goal. But if they hadn't been so bad, probably the worst team I've seen this season. And what with Danny McNamara sitting on the bench, that right side was emptier than George Lampy's wallet, wasn't it? Till he came on. Soon as he's on, down the wing, beautiful crossing. I can't see why he keeps getting left out the first 11. And to be honest, if I weren't selling programmes each week, I'd be looking for excuses not to go.
Fair enough. Jeff?
I think, look, the important thing was to win the game. We are now basically halfway up the league. I think it's true that is that right? 2 points off the playoffs. We've played a lot of the top teams now, particularly away from home. In fact, if you look back, the fixtures we were given for the first 10 games look actually quite challenging, don't they? We had some tough games. We played Norwich away, haven't we? We played Sheffield United away. We played Burnley. It's not beyond imagination. That could be the top three. So I think it hasn't evened itself out yet. I think we've got more points now than we had at the same stage last season. Pat's right.
And they're still complaining, Jeff.
They're complaining about the football. They're not complaining about the results. They're complaining about what they're watching. Yeah.
There's a lot of misunderstanding about Billy Mitchell's role. I thought he was getting forward and playing the ball forward more on Saturday. So perhaps we should give credit to the Moaners, because he did look to get forward passes in more this week. I think there's another reason why that happened. I think that we didn't leave just two players in the centre of midfield with three up front. This time we had a midfield player as a third midfielder. That was Honeyman, who is a midfield player that can push forward. The previous week we had Fleming as a third forward, hoping to get back into midfield and do a little job, which he couldn't do. So I was very pleased to see that he started in a front two and Honeyman as the most forward of the three midfield players. I also agree with Stan. I think Billy Mitchell's a brilliant player in that role. You aren't going to find your holding midfield player going on mazy dribbles and scoring wonder goals. Kante doesn't do it at Chelsea. He won the league playing that role at Leicester. So I think they're bang out of order there. But everyone's got their own opinion, haven't they? They're entitled to it. As for the game itself, I thought we deserved to win. I think we needed to win. It's great when you go into the international break on the back of a win. I went home reasonably happy because the Championship is a tough league. And anytime Millwall are in the top half or threatening to be in the top half, we're punching above our natural weight. So let's get off his back. They'll be moaning about John Berylson next. So I just think we have to ignore. You have to give people the respect. They've got their own opinion, but sometimes it's more than an opinion, isn't it? It's a gang mentality. Let's get him out. Ridiculous.
Fair enough. I also just wanted to say well done to Jamie Morley and Bethany Warren, who on the last show predicted that Millwall would indeed beat Blackpool 2-1. Well done both. Jamie goes top of the league in the Lions former player prediction table. George will treat you both soon. The Millwall Community Trust have also advised us that a striker is needed. This is a great opportunity for under 15 boys in the area to join a great team for the 2022-23 season. Training and matches are at St Paul's, pathway to under 18s and supplies a pathway to under 18s and Fisher FC. Contact Peter Farrell on pjyido@gmail.com. That's pjyido@gmail.com. We'll take a break there and hear about the Fans Matchday programme.
Hi, Bethany here. Want a matchday programme? You'll find them with sellers outside the ground by the gates at Zampa Road, Stockholm Road and Senegal Road. They cost £1 and the sellers ask if you can have the right money, as change will be difficult. If you want to get a message, photos of special events, memorials or just ones for good luck to be included, email smprogram@protonmail.com. That is smprogramme@protonmail.com. It's a great read.
I'm Gary Staff, and with me I have the No One Likes Us Talking team of Stan Godwin, Patricia Maslin and Jeff Burnige. Don't forget, have your pound coin ready or buy 5 for a £5. Our first guest this week was born in Jamaica on the 12th of August 1965. He signed for the Lions on a free transfer from QPR in 1991. Sorry, I stand corrected. He's joined for about 125,000 from QPR and went on to play 104 times for the Lions at centre-back between 1991 and 1998, before moving on to Northampton for a free transfer. He also had one of the most famous crowd chants. We all know what that is. Welcome to the show, Tony Witter.
Evening, panel.
Hello, Tony.
All right, Tony.
Evening, Tony.
Evening, everyone.
Evening.
Tony, before I let you off on the panel, you joined from QPR. How did that all come about then, mate?
I came on loan there when I think Alan McCleary, well, I told this story already. Alan McCleary was supposedly moving on, but there was some sort of transfer rumour that he was going to Nottingham Forest, but that didn't happen. And I got stuck there at the club, travelling with your old manager, Mick McCarthy, who was coming to the end of his career. He was playing in the reserves. Then his knees had been giving him trouble. And you had a young keeper that was on trial at the same time I was there on loan called Casey Keller. I think people remember him.
Yeah.
And he that he was on trial there. They signed him straight away anyway. But that was my first encounter. And then I went back to QPR and basically, I think when Mick got the job, when I was playing with him in the reserves, when we was keeping the fitness up, he said if he ever got a manager's job that he'd come and get me. And the first manager job he got was at Millwall, and he came and got me from QPR.
Wow. Well done, Mick.
Well,
you are one of his better signings, Tony. No question of that.
Yeah,
absolutely no doubt about that.
Well, thank you for that. But like most players would say, stuck in a reserve side anywhere in the as a professional footballer, all you want to do is be given your chance to play. If somebody didn't think you were good enough, obviously you could try and make your living somewhere else. Hopefully.
When you come to Millwall, did you have a preconceived idea in your mind as to what it might be like? And then when you got there, it probably wasn't quite as bad or as good as you thought it might have been, or it even might have been better than you thought it was going to be.
What are you trying to say? Did Millwall have a reputation freehand? Millwall had a reputation. Millwall had a reputation because, as I said to you before, because just prior to you coming, there'd been one of these things in the paper. Then what happened was, because I was there on your own debut, right? And because the thing was, unless a lot of people watch reserve team football, then people were sitting at when we all got there. People were saying, "Well, who's this guy, Tony Witter?" Because because unless they saw reserve team football, they didn't know. When you all come out to do your warming up, people said, "Oh, that's him there," right? Anyway, then we come out and you played the game, right? And then I think about 10 minutes from the end, old Mick substituted you, and as you walked off the pitch, you got a standing ovation. And this was, and I remember that well. But yeah, real well. But what I'm trying to get at was when you got there and once you got settled in, was it what you thought it might have been, or not as bad as you thought it was going to be? That's what I mean. Not just reputation, but the club and the players and all that sort of thing. Obviously, coming from prior Crystal Palace to QPR and then QPR to Millwall, obviously it was different in its setup in regards to, straight, no disrespect. You saw that the club was obviously a club run within a tighter budget, frameship and everything else. And it was what I expected, but I was pleasantly surprised. Especially training ground. I can't remember where we trained. It was somewhere there.
Elton, wasn't it? Yeah.
Elton. Yeah. Elton. If it used to rain, it used to flood the training ground.
Yeah.
And that was back in the day. So things have improved a lot since then. But the staff and the players, they were very much welcoming. And at the time, I had players that I was still talking to from previous clubs, and they were like, "Well, why are you going there?" And I said, "Just want to play football. It doesn't matter where. If you get a chance, you grab the chance and see what happens.
Yeah. Tony, it's Pat here. That FA Cup run in '95, What was that like? I mean, we had Arsenal twice, Chelsea, then losing to QPR. But, I mean, those games must have been brilliant to play in, Chelsea and Arsenal.
At the end of the day, we had a couple of runs in cups over the years, and we didn't do too badly. And then that season, I think the luck was on our side as well as being the underdogs. And in football, what I did learn, underdogs do raise their games against the bigger sides. Whatever millions of pounds and top players that they've got international, they can come unstuck with lesser players, which I would say that we were, but it was a lot of spirit and a lot of luck on our run, and we went a hell of a way to giving those sides a fight as well as beating some of the best.
Yeah, because we done well in the League Cup that year as well, didn't we? Remember going out to Swindon in January.
Yeah, which was a Nottingham Forest one. I can't remember.
Yeah, that was the League Cup.
Yeah. We went to Nottingham Forest as well. Yeah, I remember. Yeah. It was a very good year for the cup runs. Anyway, I know that.
Tony, this is Jeff Burnige. Nice to speak to you again. Very nice to have you on the programme, Tony.
Nice to hear you.
But going back to that 95 FA Cup run, the atmosphere at those games was unbelievable. I mean, the Arsenal replay where Mark Beard put us in front quite early on, and we were winning 1-0 for a long, long time, and then Mark Kennedy scored a wonder goal, didn't he? Ran from quite a long way out and smashed it in. We went mental that day. You must have a very good memory of the atmosphere at that game.
Yeah. Do you know what? Some people say, I'll be honest with you, Jeff. Looking back at it now, and it's a few years on, and shall we say that the old memory's fading a bit. But I've spoken to a couple of players in the time. I think you can lose the actual. As a supporter, or being obviously yourself and other people who were at the game, they'd more have a vivid memory of the game than the actual some of the players. Actually, all I saw was a pitch, but when I've seen actual replays and clips of it, you don't actually remember seeing certain things. Do you know? The whole moment is kind of lost at the time because you're not there to actually enjoy it. It's the after effects.
We can say to other London clubs fans that. The last time we played Arsenal, we knocked them out the cup. The last time we played Chelsea, we knocked them out the cup. That doesn't sound too bad, does it, Tony? But look, you worked under a few managers in your career, in particular at the Den. Which of the managers and coaches was the most influential on you?
Mick, no doubt about it. Because at the end of the day, he was a defender, and obviously trying to learn in the trade. In a very short space of time coming to Millwall, you can be coached all you like at other clubs, previous clubs. If you have a defender, that's a defender, and just has you trying to improve your game and takes you aside and gives you what he knows. That aided me to have some sort of career as such, because it's just what it is. Coaches have influences on certain players,
Tony, to jump in there, who was you marking in that Arsenal game? Just to step back a little bit, I'm trying to remember. Was it Ian Wright? Was Wrighty playing?
Yeah, Wrighty was playing, yeah. I was given the job to silence him on many occasions. And Jeff's heard this story once, and I'll tell it again. I was given the job to mark him in the game and nullify him. The one that always comes, and I tell the story all the time because it just is one of the biggest highlights. Being that I was at Crystal Palace with him before, and we were very good mates at that. And I think there was a ball that was played up, and I tackled him and took him and the ball off the pitch. And shall we say, a couple of the boisterous Millwall supporters had some racial chants acted, sort of like directed at Wrighty, but didn't call his name, just say a descriptive name for both of us. And basically, I looked across, Wrighty looked across, Wrighty said to me, "How are you playing for these so-and-so?" And the couple of supporters that had chanted what they chanted, I looked at them quizzically, and they turned to me and said, "No, Tony, not him, not you, him." So that was left with not much of the imagination, yeah?
Yeah, not much. Tony, you've had a few centre-back partners in your time, not necessarily at Millwall, but who's been your favourite?
Oh, Gareth Southgate.
Wow.
Is that one for you? He started his trade at back, and then he came into the centre with me, and that's why I played the reserves. Stan Collymore came in at the reserves. We had a hell of a reserve side at Palace. But yeah, Gareth came in, and obviously never to know that he ended up where he ended up. But yeah, Southie. We used to call him Big Nose, to be fair. That was his nickname.
Not now.
Don't know why. We'll call him that now. No. But that was my claim to fame, definitely.
Yeah, wow, it's a good one.
What do you make of Billy Bonds, Tony?
What do I make of him? Shall we just? What did you say? I played 160, right? Something like that. Yeah, I would have played about 150 if it wasn't for Billy Bonds. No disrespect. But
104 times you played.
I would have played 150, but he came to the club and no falling out. Just didn't like me as a player, and that showed because I got dropped, and he made reports out that I was injured when I wasn't. But there you go.
Fair enough.
Yeah, right, okay.
Yeah, I'd like to move on from that 95 season. The following season, there was ups and downs. We had a great night at Goodison Park in the League Cup. You got any recollection of that at all, Tony?
Goodison Park? Everton?
Yeah.
4-2.
We played Everton in the League Cup and won 4-2 up there. I think, was it when Scott Taylor was playing? It was just before Christmas. A couple of days before Christmas. But it sounds like your memory's a bit vague of those games, Tony. You were concentrating on who you were marking.
Was I playing in that game?
You were. I did check that, Tony. Yeah.
I don't think you played in the QPR game in the FA Cup in '95.
Rhino was suspended.
Damien Webber came in.
Who gave away the penalty?
He gave away the penalty. Handball.
Who was that? Damien Webber?
Yeah.
98th minute, wasn't it? Or 89th minute or something?
Clive Wilson, penalty 5 minutes before the end or something like that.
Yeah. That was good.
And Damien handballed it, and then Clive Wilson stepped up and took the penalty. I remember that.
Yeah.
Got jipped for it. Because I asked him after we missed it, and then came back to our place and said, not a chance.
Oh, Tony, it's been great to speak to you. Thank you for joining us tonight. We'll have to get you back on later on in the season. Just a quick question. How do you think the first team are doing this season, Tony?
Well, I was listening to you just before I came on, and everybody's talking that they did. Somebody mentioned about the Norwich and the Burnleys and the Sheffield United, and to be fair, I don't see much changing from that. Them being in the top six, definitely around that. But Millwall, as they always do, they have this perfectly to sit where they are and have a run towards the end of the season to get them into the playoff spot. I don't, no disrespect again, I don't think they're quite nick an automatic place, but the playoffs definitely. But it's a slow burner, definitely. 10 games, quarter. It's still a third of the season, 2/3 of the season to go yet.
Interesting. And your thoughts on Gary Rowett? Do you think he's now, as you've just seen a stat looking down, he's now the second longest manager in the Championship behind Mike Robbins as well, after the recent changes?
As long as the actual, forget the board, because the board doesn't seem to have a lot of things in anything these days. It seems to be crowd power as such. As long as people, respect and see where the club's going and what they're trying to do, just give people a chance. That's all they can do.
Fair enough. We would normally ask for a prediction, Tony, but as it's the international weekend, how do you think England will do against Italy this Friday night? We'll ask that one.
They're away, aren't they? 2-1.
2-1. I'll take that. Brilliant. Well, thank you, Tony. We get you back on, as I say. Love to your family and friends, and take care.
Yeah. Cheers, Tony.
Yeah, cheers, Tony.
Cheerio, Tony. Thanks for coming on.
No problem. Bye-bye.
We'll take a break there and listen to Debbie Julians and Harvey Brown talking about the Lions Food Hub.
Let's hear from Harvey Brown.
Have you heard of the Lions Food Hub? That Millwall Lioness, Kelly Webster, is involved. Don't forget to help the Lions Food Hub if you can. Thank you.
As Harvey said, they need your support. If you can help, and you can make a one-off or a regular monetary donation at Banquet, that is BANKUET. You will find them online. Insert www.banquet.co.uk/Lions Food Hub into your browser. I'll say that again, www.banquet.co.uk/Lions Food Hub. And the Lions Food Hub is all one word. On match days, you can make food and toiletry donations at the Lions Food Hub, which is opposite the 1885 bar at the Cold Blow Lane end of the ground. Alternatively, you can also contact the team via the Lions Food Hub Twitter or Facebook sites.
I'm Gary Staff, and with me I have the No One Likes Us Talking team of Stan Godwin, Patricia Maslin and Jeff Burnige. Energy and food poverty is rising beyond our wildest dreams from 12 months ago and will not decrease but increase again. However, your kindness will be much appreciated and lessen the burden on the families at risk. Let's hear from Ellis Barr, who we love to see in our videos. Keep up the good work, Ellis.
Ellis here. Thank you for watching my videos. Now to hear what the Millwall Lionesses and Romans have been up to, and to hear who is next up for Gary Rowett and the Lions. Come on, Millwall!
So first up, Millwall Romans and the Pride, and we hear from Paul Loding.
Hi all, just a very quick update from the Millwall Romans. The Romans team played in another pre-season friendly on Sunday at St Paul's against a very strong AFC Muswell Hill team. Muswell Hill used to play in our league. They are a very, very good side, very physical. Again, we're keeping up with our style. We did have a few players missing and we unfortunately lost 3-1. Lots of lessons to be learned in that one, which is good. I think it's prepared us now for our first game of the season. First games of the season kick off this Sunday. Romans team are at home to Soho FC. 1 o'clock kick-off down at St Paul's, and the Pride team are playing away to Titans in West London.
And next up, we have our very own Jeff Burnige, who filed a report on the Lionesses over at Sutton this weekend.
Millwall stayed in second place in the London and South East Regional Women's League on Sunday with an exciting 5-1 win over Sutton United Women. The Lionesses are improving week by week with their blend of experienced new recruits and the cream of their academy. It now is beginning to gel nicely. The Lionesses were 4-0 up by half-time. Manager Jack Wheeler introduced yet another youngster in wide left player Angel Reid. It was Reid herself who on 23 minutes created the opener for fellow 17-year-old Cadence Kabadaki. The centre-forward, in turn, created an immediate second goal for wide right striker Otisha Charles. The girls were playing some great stuff in the attacking third and scored 2 more before the break. Charles, a Guyana international, scored for 3-0 on 39 minutes. Manager Wheeler was already confident enough to make a couple of substitutions, and one of these, Molly Hawkins, brilliantly set up another for legendary striker Gemma Bryan to head home. This was Gemma's first competitive goal for nearly 3 years on her return from serious injury, and her teammates were delighted. The second half was not so fluent, and it was Sutton who scored next, before on 78 minutes, debutant Angel Reid scored a 5th for the Lionesses. This goal was celebrated wildly by the delighted crowd and the whole of the team. This Sunday sees the Lionesses visiting Dulwich Hamlet at Champion Hill in what should prove to be a massive local derby.
Good luck to both this weekend. Stan, I'll start with you, mate. What did you make of the Romans and Pride pre-season and the up-and-coming start of the season for them?
It all sounds very promising. I mean, it's, as I keep saying, it's like last season, it's, you know, they're work in progress. And I think that this season, I think they're going to do very well. It just seems to me that possibly everything they touch turns to gold. I don't understand this to be exaggerating, but you understand what I mean.
They're very good.
When they, so I just think that, you know, if it ain't broke, don't mend it, and they just seem to be going along, getting better each week, and they're clearly on the rise. And I have to say that because they were talking about possibly having a nut. We've got 2 teams, haven't we? And I think Paul was talking about at one point at the beginning of the season, possibly 3, or that might well happen towards some point. You know, I mean, all credit to them, and you know, they bring, and they, in actual fact, they bring and they are great credit to the football club, no question of that at all. and hoping they're going to go from strength to strength, which
Brilliant.
I think they will do.
Brilliant. Well said, Stan. Pat, the Lionesses are still second in their league, making it 3 wins in a row after beating the Sutton, as our Jeff said. What did you make of that at the weekend?
Yeah, well, not only our under-21s making the headlines. I've been noticing the Lionesses results each week because obviously compiling the programme, I'm updating the results and I'm noticing sort of certain names appearing each week. As Jeff said, from their academy, their under-18s, they've brought 2 girls up, Kadabaki and Hand. They're both fitting in well. I've noticed the names of Grace Seeley and Jasmine August often appearing on as goal scorers. And they're not just winning by the odd goal, are they? I mean, Aylesford was 4-2, Enfield 3-1, Sutton 5-1. These are massive wins for them. And at this rate, they're going to storm the league. Promotion looming. Good luck to them. And the best of luck against Dulwich Hamlet on Sunday.
Fantastic. And Pat, you mentioned the under-21s there. I'll ask Jess, what does he make of the 7 in a row after beating our neighbours down the road 4-1?
To respond to Pat, because I've done my report, which I did on Sunday night, and Maritime Radio, which is within the area that a lot of our fans covered, all the way from Greenwich out to Maidstone. They always do my match report for the Lionesses in drive time on Monday mornings. It was Tuesday this week for obvious reasons. So that's worth listening to. It won't be a cakewalk to get promotion. There's 3 other very good teams, and it's a very strong regional league, probably the strongest league at that level in the country. As for the under-21s, I've been going to those games because I got time on my hands now after lockdown. That finished my working life, I think. I went to Watford the previous week. They won there. I think that was 4-1. That was a very good performance. On Tuesday this week, we beat Charlton at home 4-1. That's always an important result. Charlton were unbeaten like ourselves, but frankly, that could have been 6 or 7 without any exaggeration. We completely overran them in the second half, and that's a very strong group, quite a young group. Most of them come up from the under-18s last season. It was good to see Isaac Olaofe come back from injury and score. Nana Boateng, who some of our fans remember played in the first team in the Cup last season, he's been out for months. He's had another run out. He scored. Abdul Malik scores every game. So they're a good team to watch. And when they're at the Den on the afternoon, that's something that people should think about doing.
That's great. Thanks, Jeff. Well, we'll take a break there and listen to the Fantastic Fanatics.
Hi, I'm Richard Gordon, and I'd like to invite you to become a Fantastic Fanatic. Fantastic Fanatics is a great way to raise funds for your sports club. Sign up today, find your club, and securely register your everyday debit and credit cards. Every time you spend with our retail partners, they pay a percentage back to your club. It costs you nothing, and you can win cash prizes along the way. Visit fantasticfanatics.com and help your club be the best it can be.
I'm Gary Staff, and with me I have the No One Likes a Talking team of Stan Godwin, Patricia Maslin, and the legend Jeff Burnige. With Christmas a mere 100 days away, actually I think it's about 90 now, why not spend on presents through the Fantastic Fanatics site and give a bonus to the Millwall Community Trust? It will help them deliver such activity as school holiday camps and walking football and sports for the over 50s, and their latest offering, Millwall Street Soccer Academy for 18 to 30-year-olds. Our last guest this evening is a Millwall fan, former Lioness, and the lead behind the Lions Food Hub. That's giving it away. Welcome to the show, the one and only Kelly Webster.
Good evening, everybody.
Evening,
Hope
Kelly.
everyone's all right.
Good evening, Kelly.
Evening, Kelly.
Hey.
Kelly, hello again. Before I let you
Hello.
off on the panel, your support...
All right, Kelly.
All right.
You support the Lions week in, week out. And what is your take on the performances so far? And I did mention it just now. How did you manage to get Gary Rowett in running the London Marathon Hub also?
Well, we might as well start with the main topic, which is obviously how did I get Gary Rowett to run the marathon? Well, I didn't, in fact. It came as an absolute shock to me, Ellen. It just came out and we were both shocked and blown away that he wants to support us. And obviously I want to thank him very much and thank Millwall for putting it out there. And it's going to be vital funds for us coming in. So, yeah, shocked. I think the
So
word is.
how would that work, Kelly? Then, so if Gary goes and raises, say, £2,000, where would the money comes into you? Would you then go and buy food, or would you then use that for other means? How would it work?
Yeah, we'd go out because we go out shopping once a week as it is, sometimes twice a week if needed, with certain supermarkets at the moment with saying we can only have a certain amount of items and stuff like that. So we sort of have to shop around. It can take a whole day sometimes. So that money would be put into any food that we needed. And said families going up and stuff like that, it's going to be well needed coming over Christmas and the cost of living, etc. So we're really grateful that this money's coming in. It means that I can keep taking people in, because we've had another 2 in the last day, like alone, that want to come and need help. So it's going to be a massive thing for us.
Pat, over to you first, then, mate.
Yeah, we all know you played for the Lionesses, Kelly, and you're a national treasure with them. So you got a good overview of their performances so far this season. What do you make of their start?
I think it's been a great start, to be honest. I mean, 3 wins on the bounce and sitting in second. Who wouldn't want to start like that? The division, I say, and the other thing is the division's packed with like teams like Dulwich Hamlet, Fulham. There's so many teams in that division that it's going to be a tough division. So, an amazing start. The team's got stronger. They've brought in a lot of more players. I said they just look great. The football looks great out there, and I think they're doing really well. Just long may it carry on.
Yeah, as I said earlier in the programme, you're not winning just 1-0 though, are you? You're going out, you're storming the games at the moment.
Yeah, they are. I said it's such a team performance, and I think anyone that's been down to watch them would say the football is amazing to watch. It's packed with passion and fight. I mean, it's not just, as you said, 1-0 wins, and it's not just one goal scorer. It can be many different people on the pitch that are scoring goals. So it's great to see.
Right, brilliant.
What's your Kelly? Stan here, mate.
Hello, Stan. You're right.
I was just going to ask, how is your recovery from your leg injury? Our new question for fans is to tell us about your most memorable Millwall game since you have followed them.
So the leg injury, I went back to the hospital this week, which was 5 weeks later than due because of IT problems, etc. with the hospital. But the bone's healing well. I've had a little bit of an issue with the plate. It's aggravating me quite a bit. They said that they'll give it another 3 months, review it, and if it comes to it, that basically they take the plate out if that's the case. But he wasn't ruling out that I would be able to sort of have some sort of capacity of playing football, maybe a kickabout, but it would never be obviously playing games and stuff like that at the moment. It would be see what the physio brings and we go from there. So yeah, it's better news than what I expected, let's put it that way. And my most memorable game is, people are going to probably find this one a bit weird, but I think it's the atmosphere. I think it was everything that day for me. There was a lot that went on that day as well. It's Leeds versus Millwall in 2009, the second leg playoff. Fordy's penalty save, the 950 odd of us there were out singing, the Leeds fans. Yeah. It was just unreal. And we was in there for a long time after the game, and it was just that connection between the players and the fans. It was just, a night to remember for me. And the journey home seemed like 5 minutes because everyone was on such a high. But the Fordy save was that penalty because of what had happened with Beckford, obviously earlier in the season with that game where he'd been elbowed. And then Jimmy Abdou, absolutely loved Jimmy Abdou, to see him score and light up. And it was one of them ones that does stick in my memory. I mean, I know a lot of people go for the semi-final and stuff like that, but that one, I just think it was just brought everyone together that night. It was massive.
I'm with you on that one.
Kelly, it's Jeff Burnige here.
Hi, Jeff.
It's lovely to speak to you on here. Look, first and foremost, that was a horrific injury you had to your leg, and when I saw it 2 or 3 months ago, it didn't look too good at all. But very good to hear you speaking positive about possibly being able to do something on that leg again. That would be an amazing thing. So, fingers crossed for that.
Yeah, even if it's walking football, I'm in for something, believe me.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I agree with you about that Leeds game as well. I mean, I didn't realise it was such a small number of our fans they allowed to be there. You're over in that corner, weren't you?
Yeah, up in that top corner, yeah.
What I remember is that you'd been, after the game, about 10 minutes went by, and then somebody, I presume the manager, said to the players, go out and see the fans.
Yeah, because, they came back out, yeah.
It was good about 10 minutes after, wasn't it? And went straight across right across the pitch to the far side, and there was lots of EIO, and it was just amazing.
Flying in, boots, everything. It was just
Harry Scott them all singing, didn't he?
Yeah.
Because it got us to Wembley, didn't it? It wasn't just beating Leeds; it got us to Wembley. So just amazing night. But to tell us a bit more about the food hub. You're, on a match day, you can now be found in the actual stadium, can't you? Tell people exactly where it is on the match day, so that if they have got stuff to give you or want to make a small cash donation, they know where to find it.
Yeah, so we opened the match day donation hub first game of the season, and we're round by the blue where the SC16's just around there. Anyone can drop anything to us. I said, anything will help. So really at the moment, the main things that we sort of need are tin meat, tin veg or fruit, any toiletries. And as you said, we do like cash donations, which obviously help, and card donations. So, I mean, the last game that we had, all the cash donations that we'd raised, and that's also, there's an inflatable 6-shooter, which has... they take donations for us there for anyone that has a go on that on a match day. And between the two of us, we raised the whole amount of our shopping for this week. So that was a big thing for us. And I just want to thank everyone that does donate on match days, because for us, it is what's keeping us going. So we've had no support from council, etc. So it is Millwall fans that are keeping us going and everyone else out there. So thank you.
What else is helping a little tiny bit is we mentioned the under-21 games, excuse me, earlier on, how well they're doing. But for a home game at the Den, you can now drive into the main car park, and Ellen's on the gate there, dropping big hints about making a donation. I think she's charging, is it £2.50 she's charging?
Yeah, it's £2.50 a game. So I've got to thank Karen Wilson. Obviously, she's one of the ambassadors for the Lions Food Hub, but it was her initiative to basically get people to pay for their parking on under-21's match day. And that's done really well. This week we raised £140 so that was a big thing for us. Said a little bit, it goes a long way. Even Kenny Jackett was putting in on the last game, so so I've got to thank Karen for thinking of the initiative for that, and it's all money that's going to help us, as we said, as times get harder.
I think unfortunately the next one is quite a way away. The third's on Monday.
Yeah, me and Ellen was
home to Bristol City. So come along to the game, park in the main car park, and it'll cost you £2.50 or more if you want to be generous like Kenny Jackett. So that it's brilliant. It's a great thing that you do there, Kelly. Everyone's really proud of you for doing it, and it's such a current issue, isn't it? The cost of living, and if we can help some local families, then you know, it's a very, very well worth thing to be doing.
It's not even just local families. I mean, I've had people come as far as Catford and whatever else. I'm willing to try and help as many people as possible. I think we're different in the way that I don't want it to be queues up the road, so we do time slots, because I want it to be more personal to them. They come in, they sit outside, they have a cup of tea or coffee that we give them for free. I also try and help them if they need clothes and stuff like that. So I think we try and make it as a more personal thing and intimate thing with them, that I don't want them to feel like they need to queue up the road for food, because I don't think anyone should have to. We laugh and joke about it. I have to thank Sean Daly, for giving us the space and everything else. And I did say to him a little while ago about I'm putting another container on top of the other container, but we'll see how it goes. But we do the fundraiser days, which all our service users can come along. They can help themselves to clothes and stuff like that. If people want to put a donation into the pot, then they do that. So we're looking at doing another one of those soon. And yeah, hopefully because we've got a lot of clothes at the moment, and we would like to try and get them to people that need them.
Fair enough. Also, Kelly, just going back to Gary as well, you probably haven't got this, but maybe you can send it to us and we can get it out there on the adverts. Have you got details of how you can sponsor Gary to hand? Or
Yeah, I'll send you over the link for that.
Yeah.
Also, this Sunday, I don't know whether you've seen, but Billy Slack, who was the guy that actually ended up getting the matchday donation hub delivered to us. So he went out and collected it for us out near Ipswich and brought it to us. Well, it's him and a few others that are going to do a walk on Sunday, and they've got like another fundraising page for that. So if I can send you the link for that as well, because I'd like people to support them as well, because I just think it's really, I said, we're really thankful and grateful for what he's doing and wanting to support us as well.
Fantastic. Brilliant. We'll keep up the good work, Kelly. We can't thank you enough, and we'll promote you and get you out there as much as we can to help these families in need.
Yeah, just the last quick thing for me is I just want to thank everybody that does donate, help, share posts, all that kind of stuff. I want to thank yourselves, all the other people that like do everything for us, like in the way of helping promote us and stuff like that. But I also want to thank everybody that volunteers their time for the food hub. So obviously my wife Ellen, and then I have Kelly and Dave Hooker that are there on days for us when we can't make it and stuff like that. And then Sue and Craig that have been doing the matchday donation hub for me as well. Like if I need to disappear off somewhere and do something, they're on hand. And obviously Shona, Karen, they've been amazing as ambassadors. So I want to thank them all for everything they do.
Well said, Kelly. Thank you very much, and keep up the great work.
Thanks,
Kelly. Take care.
Right, take care.
Come on, Gary. Ask Kelly for a prediction. Come on. Ask her for a prediction.
What, for the England-Italy game? Go on then.
No, for the Lionesses game. Come on.
Lionesses game. All right. Go
do two.
Yeah, Lionesses and England. Go on.
I'll go right for the Lionesses one. I'm going to go 3-0 to the Lionesses. I think they're scoring readily.
Wow.
Yeah, Dulwich haven't had the best starts, so I know it's at their ground, but I hope a lot of Millwall supporters get to Dulwich Hamlet on Sunday and give the girls the support that's needed, because they're going places this season. They're strong performances. They're playing great football. So yeah, I'm going to go 3-0 for that one. And the England game, I'm going to go with tight game, maybe 2-1.
Fair enough. But don't forget, the Italians haven't qualified again for a World Cup, so interesting.
Yeah, well, we'll see. But I'm more Lionesses. That's the one for me. But yeah, hopefully a clean sheet and a 3-0.
Lovely, that'd be great. Thanks, Kelly. Keep up the great work, as I say, and if you can let us know about the 2 runs and walks, etc., we can get that out there for you.
Yeah, just like to thank you all for your time, and thank you, Eamon, as well, for everything you do for us. So thank you.
Brilliant.
Bye, Kelly.
Cheers, Gary.
Bye,
Thank
Kelly.
you.
Cheers, Kelly.
See you later.
Cheers,
Take
Kelly.
care.
Bye.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
We'll take a break there and listen to Bethany Warren talking about how to support the Millwall Community Trust.
The work of the Millwall Community Trust makes a big difference for people in Lewisham, Southwark and North Kent. Times are getting tougher, and to help them make a difference, you can help too by making a donation. Give a one-off donation or a monthly amount. Your support is crucial in raising vital funds for their work, or by fundraising for them. If you are running, swimming, cycling, cooking, dancing, parachuting or anything else, why not do it for the Millwall Community Trust? Interested? Then either email inquiries@millwallcommunity.org.uk or phone 0207 740 0503. I'll say that again. Email inquiries@millwallcommunity.org.uk or phone 0207 740 0503. Thanks if you can.
I'm Gary Staff, and with me I have the No One Likes Us Talking team of Stan Godwin, Patricia Maslin and Jeff Burnige. The work our trust does is second to none, and if you can make a donation, it will go a long way to helping others in our community. So, news around the ground this week. Millwall have announced that Matthew Sidman has joined the club as a non-executive director. The club stated that the Boston-based American has extensive experience in finance and real estate and will contribute alongside John Berylson and other directors in working towards short, medium and long-term objectives as part of the club's overachieving strategic vision.
Overarching.
Berylson, whose financial backing has been crucial to the Lions since 2007, said, Matthew is well known and respected by my family, and I am delighted that he has agreed to join the club in this capacity. He is incredibly enthusiastic about his involvement with Millwall and will further enhance the board's collective knowledge and expertise across a wide range of matters and initiatives. Each season, we'll try to make progress on and off the pitch, and Matthew's appointment to the board is testament to that and give benefits in his directorship, which will help the club in weeks, months and years ahead. So, team, what do you think about that news? I'll go to you first, Dan.
Well, my view, I heard about this today, but if John Berylson, presuming a lot of this is for him to be there, it's because of John Berylson. And if John Berylson's saying that this bloke's a good bloke, well, that's good enough for me. Because I'd like to see a brave man to suddenly stand and turn around and say to John Berylson, no, you got it all wrong here, mate. But if that's what he's saying, then that's fine by me. John Berylson has been brilliant for Millwall. Absolutely no question about that. And I don't even think his judgment could even be questioned, in my opinion. And if that's what he's saying, that's good enough for me.
Fair enough. Pat, what do you think?
Well, none of us know much about him. It's another American coming into a club he knows nothing about, basically. I think he's a financial investor, isn't he? It's not going to be the football side he's interested in. It's the regeneration. I think he's had dealings in real estate and that over there. So it's obviously he's been brought in to move that further on. So I don't think we've got to worry too much about the football side, but obviously the investment will affect our buying power, whatever. But I think it's mainly for the regeneration. I could be wrong, but that's the way I'm reading it.
I will make a comment on what Pat just said in a minute, but Jeff, as an ex-director, what are your thoughts?
Well, obviously I was around when John arrived. What he's done financially is incredible. It's something that I really wanted when I took over as chairman from Theo. To find someone like John, that's amazing. But the game is changing. It's much more business oriented. It's much more international. There's quite a lot of Americans taking a great interest in English professional football. I don't know the details of this appointment, but I think he's another very wealthy individual, which hopefully will help John bear this incredible burden that he's shouldered in keeping the club going since 2005, his first involvement. So, yeah, we're very lucky to have him, and I'm sure this is an appointment which will help John with the investment that Pat refers to, but also shouldering the financial burden, I think, will also be a part.
Jeff, also as well, do you think with this appointment, do you think it's now moving the regeneration to the next stage, really? Because it's been kind of a bit quiet, but maybe now we're ready to make the next steps.
No, I think unless something's changed, the reason it's gone quiet is that the club are negotiating with Lewisham for an extension to our present lease, which is not quite long enough to do a large-scale redevelopment of the car park areas around the ground. Until that's done, I don't think we can go ahead. But I'm sure they're working on that, and that should be done imminently with a bit of luck. I don't think this appointment is to do with the regeneration. I really don't.
Fair enough. But question on that, Jeff. If I'm buying a house, for example, I want a 99-year lease because that's substantial for me. Why, in a business term of ground, for regeneration of a ground, why would it need to be 199? Why would it need to be that long?
I don't think a 99-year lease is easily mortgageable these days. If you're in a house 20 years and you've only got 79 years left when you're trying to sell it, it would have a bad effect on the value. No, you need longer leases than that, in my opinion, Gary. And particularly if you're doing a large-scale redevelopment, you need funding for that. We don't pay for it out of the club's pocket. And a longer lease than we've got is essential for that development to go ahead.
Fair enough. Interesting thoughts. Well, here's looking forward to the international break. But in the meantime, here are a few matters of interest for Millwall fans.
Well, it's very opportune that you say that, because this is a matter of interest. The England under-21s won, and lo and behold, who was playing in that team, which was Charlie Cresswell. You know, congratulations to him, and congratulations to the England under-21s. They played Italy, by the way, out there. Yeah, so Charlie Cresswell I didn't even know he'd even been called up, to be perfectly honest, but he did, and great credit to us all. First off, what about sponsoring a player enjoying a great executive lounge VIP package with family and or friends, or just getting behind the club in a number of different ways? That includes business propositions from advertising to sponsorship. Just contact the helpful team of Andrew Stead, Edgar or Lucy in the commercial department to find out more. Good night.
And next week, Eamon returns to host the show on Friday at 8 p.m. with Ted, Debbie, and Jeff once again. There will be a couple of guests, a preview of our game, and more too. Don't miss it. Also, the next Millwall History and Heritage Tour takes place September 24th, starting at 11 a.m, and tickets are currently on sale at eventbrite.co.uk. That is EVENTBRITE, that's all lowercase, .co.uk. Just search for the Millwall History and Heritage on the site. Good night.
Do you know someone, or do you think you have what it takes to join the Millwall Community Trust Post-16 programme? It's an academy run by the Community Trust, and they play against other professional clubs' community schemes. Get in touch with Millwall_MCT_Academy on Instagram about training and trials. I'll say that again. It's Millwall_MCT_Academy on Instagram about training and trials. And it's good night from me.
Don't forget, you'll be able to listen to the No One Likes Us Talking team bring reports from our games both home and away for both the Lions and the Lionesses, and also updates on Millwall community matters on Maritime Radio, broadcasting on 96.5 FM. Additionally, like us on our Instagram, Facebook and Twitter and other social media sites, and all popular podcast sites also. That's it from me. Thanks Stan, Pat and Jeff. And finally, good night from me.